Hello everyone, Kamanamich here, and today we're going to continue our Project Zomboid playthrough. Now you might have noticed that my name has changed from Emroka to Kamanamich, and this has always been a running thing. With me, I've always had this confliction whether to call myself Emroka or Kamanamich, and I just believe Kamanamich rolls off the tongue better, so I'm just going to stick with that. Continuing from last time, we wake up at 4 AM to start the day off. God, I wish I could sleep for 4 hours and be fine. Right, so I open my map and figure out what I need to do. I researched the alarmed house from last episode, but it was so dark out that I decided to return later. I saw a video saying that you could convert a sheet into a small sling bag. I tried here, and this can carry 10 slots. It's pretty good for early game, or if you can't find a backpack like me. I watch my usual life and living and have breakfast, a slab of bologna. Returning back to the alarmed house, I ate this soup and went to the basement. There were some zombies here that almost got me. Here I'm also collecting watches to disassemble later when I get the electrical skill book. So when I do disassemble them with the multiplayer, my skill will increase significantly. Here I'm just looting the nearby area when this zombie came out of nowhere and almost grabbed me. I'd say it was worth it because I do find a mechanics magazine and some of these crates, and as of build 42 you can move these storage crates without risk of them breaking, which is a major relief. I continue to loot the house next door. I can hear a zomboid beyond one of these doors, but I do not know which one. So I push on all the doors so I can aggro it so it bangs on the door that it's behind. This makes it easier for me to know where it is. I exit this house to deal with the zombies outside, and then I mark this place off on my map. This zomboid here has a holster and a shotgun. Project Zomboid's shooting mechanic has changed since build 41. In build 41, no matter how close the zomboid is to you, there is a chance a gun does not shoot them because of your aiming skill, which is kind of stupid. I don't know if this is the reason that prompted them to change the shooting mechanic. However, in build 42, there is a reticle. As your aiming skill goes up, this reticle gets smaller and you become more accurate. This still makes shotguns the best weapon to level up your aiming skill, so I'm still gonna take it and use it when I want to increase my aiming stat. Surprisingly though, I've never really used guns to clear out big hordes of zomboids because of just how loud they are. Smash this car window, hoping that the keys are inside. They weren't. I head back to base to deposit all my items. I put the shotgun next to my bed so I can be armed and dangerous when I wake up. I smoke a cigarette, watch Life and Living, and then head to bed. Also, since build 42, your quality of sleep is affected if you use a pillow or not, so be sure to use one. Say if you need to sleep in your car, for example, it's best to carry a pillow in the car. I slept so good that I missed my 6 AM cooking show. I start the day by looting this market next to my base. Inside this area was the Mechanics 1 and Mechanics 2 skill book. Very helpful items that will give me a multiplier towards the first 4 levels of mechanics. Loads of small snackable foods were found that included sweets, lollies, chocolates, etc. I'm unsure if this stuff can rot or decay as of build 42. I do know it does not in build 41. Zomboid here stuck in the bathroom. What a shame. He really was a great pooper in his past life. Some magazines were also found. I tend to read these as soon as I get them because they're pretty short. I don't believe that information gets forgotten by your character after some time, unless they changed it in build 42. Depositing all those items back at my base. While depositing these garbage bags, I noticed a book in one of them. It was gardening too. To think I was about to store this garbage bag and use it later, not even paying attention to what was inside it, only for it to hold useful information. Now, I remember this house having a lot of zomboids inside, so I expected some visitors when I walked in. What I didn't expect was the alarm to go off. Similarly how I handled the other alarmed house, I ran and decided to hunker down somewhere nearby. I waited here for some time, waiting for that zombie headache to sort itself out. Watching my 6 PM life and living. Now the house next door has some chickens. I plan to move these chickens sometime to my base, but that thought must have slipped my mind because I don't do anything with this information later. Also, inside this shed was a generator, and as of build 42, there are 4 different types of generators. The old generator, which is the worst generator, it decays quickly, needs more repairs, and is very loud. Highly not recommended unless there is no other option. The Value Tech generator is loud, has the shortest lifespan, but only weighs 30 compared to all the other generators weighing 40. This doesn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of things, because it's not like you're going to be carrying a generator around everywhere you go. The red generator, which we're all used to as of build 41, is now middle of the pack and is relatively okay in all regards. The yellow generator is the best generator, as it decays slower, thus needing less repairs, and is the quietest of them all. However, it is the rarest, I believe. I got lucky here, so I marked it on my map. I re-enter my spawn house to see if I missed anything. I did miss a fishing magazine. Whilst looting this house, I want to point out how dark some areas can be in build 42. Just look at this hazard. I can't imagine how dark it's going to be when the power eventually goes out. So it's imperative that I get a generator at my house and find the generator magazine as soon as possible, so I know how to use a generator. I noticed the time, so I head back to base and then I head to bed. I know technically this reaches to the next day, but I don't really care. Wake up at 5:40, ready for Gordon Ramsay to complain about the lamb sauce on today's 6 AM cooking show whilst reading some skill books. I start by looting the house that sounded the alarm to see if both a large amount of zomboids and the alarm going off was worth keeping me away. As you can see, all the doors and windows are broken. I did find onion seeds and frozen pizza, so I guess it was worth it. I did also find the key to this car inside the house. This car has a little bit of fuel in it, so I use this car to help me with my looting run. I do intend to use the other car that I highlighted in my previous video when I get the ability to hotwire vehicles. But for now, I'll just use this one. Relooting this house next door and watching 12 AM Life and Living. Grab this tarp here, and something interesting to note, tarp can now be used to make rain collectors as of build 42. You don't need to get specifically garbage bags, you can use tarp. I also go back and get that premium tech generator. when I notice you can't store the generator in the car. I usually store generators on the seat, but when I pick it up and go inside, the generator just falls to the ground. I'm unsure if this is a bug or intended feature, so I just leave the generator here and intend to grab it later. Head inside and eat the frozen pizza I got earlier. I head back to get that generator and put it in my base. Now I'm putting it inside this building because they might have changed how the condition system works. So before any of you complain that it's inside a building and I'll die from carbon monoxide poisoning, don't fret, it's only temporary. It will be outside once I have the means to use it when the power goes off. Head back to my car and tow the other car closer to my base. Like usual, spending my late afternoon reading some skill books and watching TV. Then I head to bed. 6 AM start, rushing to the TV like usual. I spend the first hour here just sifting through what I've got. It's pretty important to review what you've got rather than keep looting and gaining as much as possible. I use this time to make actual breakfast. Some pancakes. I make one with fruit, one with marshmallow, and a couple regular. I make so much that I have some left over for a snack later. Pretty foggy out, so I will keep that in mind. Quite a few zomboids were at this house whilst it's foggy out, so this is a hazard. I will take extra care here. Whilst hitting this zomboid, another zomboid crawls out of a window to scratch my foot, which makes my character fall over. This could have ended my run easily. Luckily, I get up just in time for the push prompt to work. This encounter was complete BS because the zomboid that scratched me was like 2 tiles away. No shot it would have made me fall over, but nothing bad came from it, so I guess it's fine. I killed this group of zomboids and continue my looting run of this house. I'm trying to find a shovel of sorts so I can dispose of the massive amount of zomboids that are outside my base. I find a dumbbell in this house. This is pretty good as a dumbbell gives you access to other exercise activities. I also find some helpful magazines, one on creating winter clothing and another on electrical devices, which can be helpful, but I've never really gotten into the electrical skill. I'm watching Life and Living here, and I get carpentry up to level 3, the starting level to the carpenter occupation, allowing me to make many important carpentry items, such as the first variant of the rain collector. I find this car jack in this shed, an essential tool for car maintenance and repair. I get in my car and then continue forward. Quite a few zomboids here, so I start to get cautious and debate either if I should run away or fight. I decide to fight them as they are decently spread apart. I spot this camo car. I'm unsure if this is intentional. I don't think I've seen a car with this paint job in Build 41 before. In this car was literally empty bottles of alcohol. This game is teasing me. I drive my car closer to this house to make it easier when I'm looting. Now, whilst inside this house, I drink water from this drain, and it reads 20 out of 20 instead of unlimited. This means the water has shut off. It's pretty important now to get rain collectors built. This zomboid here tries to sneak up on me. This is why it's kind of important to listen to your surroundings. I knew he was coming because I could hear him, so sometimes I will just stop for a second so I can listen to my surroundings. I find a circular saw blade in this shed, and I know you can make a saw blade bat, so when I find a bat, I'm gonna have some fun. In this car nearby, I find gardening stuff. I find a pouch of seeds. In the nearby house, I find this blunt force forge magazines, meaning if I get a forge and high skills to use it, I can make these items. Side note here, I find 2 car keys that both start the same car. I'm unsure if this is a bug or an intended feature, because it's pretty good if it's an intended feature. Multiple car keys from multiple people would be nice to have before one of you learns to hotwire all the cars. Now this house also has a basement, but it is kind of weird. It's not the usual tool shed storage basement. It's like a white room, similar to an insane asylum. There's not even a TV or anything. It's just a white room with a couch and some books. I take my car and I drive back to base. Here I'm moving everything from my car to my base. Now I kinda notice the big problem with my base, and that's the amount of corpses outside. I need to get rid of them or I will develop zombie sickness. It's when you get ill after being around the presence of the dead for a long time. So here I'm finding the stuff to make a campfire. I didn't sleep, so day 8 happens right after day 7 ends. Day 8 is kind of a rest day, honestly. I spend the entire day moving corpses from my base to outside the fence. And then I set those corpses on fire. This takes me the entire day. There really isn't much else to talk about regarding day 8. I wake up super early, ready to spend day 9. I start the day off by continuing my work from day 8, burning the rest of the corpses outside. For breakfast, I finish off the pancakes that I made a couple days ago. Here I kind of grind some mechanics on this car when I get the idea to spend a lot of day 9 just grinding out mechanics. Mechanics is probably one of my favorite skills to go into. On servers with my friends, I'm usually the mechanic of the group. Mechanics is a very important skill. Cars are essential for living in Project Zomboid. They essentially get you from point A to B. Some cars have different benefits to others. Some may carry more people, while others can carry more loot. Some may be quieter, while others may be faster. Cars are incredibly important, and mechanic skill isn't that hard to increase either. As long as you got the tools and the information via magazines to do it, it's pretty easy. As I head back to my base, the helicopter event starts. Now the helicopter event by default happens once every world. It's an event where a helicopter will fly by and will lock onto you for a few hours. And helicopters are pretty loud, so the helicopter drags a lot of zomboids to your location. However, I usually spend this time huddled up in a room without any windows, so that eventually the helicopter will go away quicker and will not spawn as many zomboids. I know some people do the opposite. When this event plays, they get into a car and just start driving. This is also a good idea, as it drives a big horde of zombies away from your base. I spend the helicopter event reading the mechanic skill book 2, waiting for it to end. Then after it's done, I head to bed, ready for the next day. That does it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, consider subscribing, leave a like or comment down below. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.